this episode of How to Do Florida, Chad and Chase take in a Grapefruit League spring training ball game in beautiful Fort Myers.
It's a part of Florida's culture. A lot of Floridians don't know about this.
Then we'll touch base with Chef Justin as he jacks one out of the park with a bit of Latin flair.
An amazing recipe for amberjack.
Really nice, simple dish with lots of bold flavors.
Come on, we're taking you out to the ball game on How to Do Florida.
Today on the show, we're going to show you how to do spring training baseball.
Since it began, it's been known as the Grapefruit League, and it was Florida's first brush with professional sports. Before there was football or basketball or hockey teams in this state, there was baseball. A handful of teams that at the turn of the century started their seasons in the warm, sunny climate of the Sunshine State. And by 1928, over half of Major League teams were making their winter homes here. Even today, there's only 6 Major League Baseball teams that haven't had spring training homes in Florida at some point. It's a time-honored tradition that's as much a part of our state as sunshine or oranges.
You know, no one does spring training baseball like Florida. 15 teams headquartered here every year, bringing with it fans from all over the world to see their favorite team play. And an economic impact of $750 million. That's a lot of hot dogs and hotels.
Today, my son Chase and I are in Fort Myers on the west coast of Florida at the Minnesota Twins' beautiful spring training facility to take in the sights and sounds and smells of spring training baseball. The thing that hits you when you first see the field at Bill Hammond Stadium is how incredibly green the grass is. I mean, it looks like it's been painted. Turns out spring training isn't just home to legendary players and coaches. It's home to a legendary groundskeeper as well.
I'm George Toma, and my job is to keep this grass green.
Believe it or not, he's been the head groundskeeper for every single Super Bowl, all 50 of them. He's even had a book written about him, Nitty Gritty Dirt Man. But baseball's where he got his start. And at the age of 87, it's what keeps him active. 17 years after he officially, quote, retired.
A well-kept field's a field of beauty. It gives everybody satisfaction. You come in here, you see the green grass, the red warning track, the red tinted infield dirt, and it's just like an artist working. And the people come in, they come here, it's an art museum for them. They see a beautiful picture, a living picture on the playing field.
Can I take my flip-flops off and feel it?
You can do anything you want. I mean,
oh my gosh, I wish you could feel this grass. This is a thing of beauty. It feels like just some kind of Persian rug we're walking on. It's got a great texture. Obviously the color is so green, it looks fake. Do you have people come to you and say, this is fake?
Green grass doesn't come naturally. It takes a lot of work. It's just like it's starting out like a newborn baby. You have to pamper it, and as it grows, you have to take care of it. And you have challenges from the weather, the insects, you have disease, and you have to be ready for anything that comes up.
What's the secret to getting it green?
We soak this ryegrass in liquid manure, and we soak it for around 2, 3, 4 days sometimes. And then as soon as the grass seed, we see a little cottoning edge on it, we plant it. We're mowing it in 7 days after planting.
Standing with George Tomo on his field is like standing with a great artist in his studio.
So it's very spiritual for you to be out here and just to work with this grass.
Right. It's something I've been doing now for 74 years, and I still love it.
George agreed to let Chase and I be honorary members of his grounds crew for the day, which meant helping to get the tarp off the field.
You just stand right there.
Okay.
You can grab it one hand, 2 hands, and you just run as fast as you can to the foul.
What happens if I fall?
We'll stop.
It's like a big giant parachute. They're just whole tarp keeps the infield dry. And now it's just gotten really heavy. Oh my gosh. It went from being fun to actually being work right now. So were you timing this?
No, I didn't time because I was watching it going out.
Whew. Oh my gosh.
You're all pro. You did a heck of a job. And son, you did a good job too.
Thank you. That was a big one. That was like a big tidal wave at the beginning.
If it rains today during the game, you need another crew guy.
You're ready.
Let me
and
and
you're
Chase
ready.
know.
We got 2 here.
We're all ready to go.
Okay, after our morning on the ball field, time to find some baseball players. Let me tell you, one of the greatest, if not the greatest things about Florida spring training is the access you get to the players and the close proximity fans can find themselves to their favorite athletes. It's an incredibly relaxed atmosphere, which helps when you're seeking that all-important autograph.
Anybody who's ever done something like this knows it's all about timing. You gotta be in the right place at the right time, and you gotta have a cute little boy you throw out there and say, hey, over here. And then they'll come and sign the ball. That's the plan, right? Okay, we'll try that.
There you go.
Thank you.
Have a good day.
Thank you,
You
Trevor.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
That's how you do it, man. Patience. You get it? You see it? Good job, dude.
Up next, Chef Justin has a hit recipe sure to make you clean your plate.
Amberjack. It's Latin spice, it's got corn relish and cilantro oil. You're gonna love it.
And later,
You know, the players feed off the fans, and players love playing in front of people.
Chad and Chase circle the bases with a pair of twins who know how to win.
You have to go to the field, get just a little ground ball, throw, be a little bit, you get better and better and better.
And good luck to you, eh?
And you're watching How to Do Florida, and we'll be right back.
We're here. Jeff's got an amazing recipe for amberjack.
That's right, it's Latin spice, it's got corn relish and cilantro oil. You're gonna love it.
Chef and I are at the Tampa Shrimp Docks here at Versace Shrimp Company. And Chef, take it in. I mean, absolute gorgeous setting here.
It really is.
I mean, this is where the magic happens. These guys go out, catch shrimp, bring it back here, all kinds of seafood. From here, it goes out all over the United States, all over the world.
That's right. Through their hard work, we get to enjoy amazing seafood, and that's what Florida's all about.
And we're out here on this dock. It's a beautiful day here in Tampa. And Chef, we are working with amberjack.
That's right, amberjack.
I've caught a lot of amberjack, don't have a lot of experience cooking it.
You know, amberjack is a little bit of a stronger fish than, say, maybe your snapper or your grouper. So it'll really hold up to these stronger flavors that we're gonna pair with it today. A delicate fish like snapper or grouper is so wonderful on its own that you really don't need to do a whole lot to it. But some fish with a stronger flavor, you know, you might want to add a little more spice to it or pair it with things that have a stronger flavor.
So amberjack is a strong fighting fish. We're gonna put some strong flavors on there.
That's right.
Chef, show us what we're doing.
Let's do it. All right, we got our pans on medium-high here. They're nice and preheated. Let's go ahead and take our amberjack fillets here. Now, I've got a Latin spice mix that I've already made. A little cumin, coriander, chili pepper, paprika. It's good, huh? And I'm not really gonna be shy here. I'm gonna get this.
Yeah, it's more of a rub there, isn't it,
Yeah,
Chef?
it really is.
You're rubbing it in there.
All right. I'm just gonna put some oil in my hot pan. All right, get these fillets
I love
in
that
here.
technique you do there. And off we go.
Off we go, that's it.
So, Chef, we got our fish in the pan.
Yep.
And now...
It's smelling good, so let's get our corn relish going.
Okay.
All right, so we got our great Florida sweet corn here. So I want you to go ahead and take the kernels off for me.
Wait a minute. One at a time, what am I doing here? This is a 5-minute segment here, Chef.
Why aren't you cutting?
Give me a tool, give me something to work with.
Okay.
Here.
Good luck with that.
What is this?
This you want to use a serrated knife. I found is the best way to take the kernels off the cob. There you go. You want to lay it down flat? Yep, just like that. Very good. I'm going to go ahead and add a little more oil. And I'm going to get my onion going.
You want the roots or just the tops?
And then my Florida sweet peppers are going in. Let that cook. All right, let's go ahead and give our fish a flip. Oh, yum. Nice and crispy. All right, so our peppers are good. Yeah, let's get it in.
All right, here we go.
Beauty. Not bad, not bad.
Nice and sweet. Right in the... Oh!
And then, well, we got popcorn.
Yeah, something's popping. Was that what that was?
It was.
Oh, can I do a pan
Yeah,
snap?
go ahead. Give it a try. Give it a try.
So I want you to judge me for height. Okay, I'm gonna try to go high. At the same time, I'm gonna try to keep the corn in the pan. Okay. He's getting a little nervous.
Don't make too much of a mess, please.
Hey, okay, we're out here on a shrimp dock. We just sweep it off. Okay, we're fine. I'm going for height. I'm also.
All right.
Are you ready
I'm
to
gonna
measure?
measure. Okay. 8 inches. You lost 4 kernels. Easy.
I'm trying to get at least a foot.
All right. Not bad. Not bad. Not bad.
I'm walking away.
Pretty good.
Walking away.
Pretty good. This smells really good. You can smell the corn, nice and that sweet kind of aroma. And then you've got the spicy kind of strong.
What do you got going on?
Well, you
there?
keep getting you got the corn in the wrong pan here.
It's popping?
And it's popping.
Okay, do we need goggles on or are we going to be okay?
Yeah, I think we'll be okay.
Chef, talk about smelling. You know, one of the things that I see you doing a lot when you cook, you're smelling the food.
Absolutely.
How important that is to seasoning and really cooking something great.
Yeah, I mean, really, all those senses are kind of linked up. You know, what you smell and what you taste are very similar processes in your brain. Without smell, you can't taste, and without taste, you can't smell.
That is profound.
So they're really linked together. So I just add a little salt and pepper in there. Make sure that's got good flavor. So we're just going to continue to let these cook. All right, so our corn's almost done. So lastly, we're just going to add a little scallion, a little bit of cilantro.
Wind's picking up out here.
It is. Cilantro going in. just spread it around on the board there. Don't worry. I think we can take our corn. We're gonna put this down.
Now, do you eat on plates like this at your house, Chef, or is this
Yeah,
just...
I have funky plates at my house. You know, I like different kinds of plates than just your standard round plate.
And you use white plates for why?
Yeah, you know, I really do prefer white plates just because it lets the food kind of show for itself and really speak for itself.
It's like an empty canvas here.
Exactly.
White canvas.
Okay, we got our fillet of amberjack.
That is amazing, Chef.
Get on there.
It's like a big piece of plantain. Look at that.
And now what I have here is a little bit of cilantro oil, simply cilantro and olive oil that I've immersioned up in my immersion blender, or you can use a regular blender. Just a little bit of oil and a little bit of cilantro. You want your little corn in there?
I want the corn in there. Just a little, just a pop. It looks good, it smells good. Chef, what you've done here, the corn, you've got all kinds of stuff going on down here as a bed, and then you've got just a beautiful looking amberjack, a lot of Latin spices in there. It looks great.
That's right. Really nice, simple dish with lots of bold flavors.
Good stuff, Chef. Really good fish. For this recipe, and many more like it,
go to howtodoflorida.com.
Coming up, practice is vacation for Chase as he gets lessons from a couple of twins greats.
Come on, get it. Ah, boy, you got it.
Hey, don't leave those seats. It ain't over till it's over.
Hey, we're in Fort Myers at Hammond Stadium. Today, Chase and I are getting a behind-the-scenes tour of spring training.
Programs, get your program here.
In 2016, 15 Major League Baseball teams had their spring training headquarters right here in Florida, hosting 215 games. That's over 2,000 innings of professional baseball, and filling the stands with over 1.5 million fans. We've already shown you how close you can get to the players here. Well, we're about to take that to another level.
Get to meet a real player here. Hey, John, how you doing?
John Ryan Murphy isn't just a Twins player. He's a Florida native.
Yeah, from Bradenton, born and raised there. My mom started the IMG Academy in Bradenton, so I kind of just grew up around that place. Fortunate to be raised in Florida and being able to play baseball all year round, you know, and even in the winter months. I live here my off season, so it's great. I think you're starting to see more and more fans come out to these spring training games, and they're really getting into the, you know, the feel of it. And I think so far the support's been great here in Fort Myers.
John Ryan's a catcher, and he gives Chase a quick lesson on the signs he uses to communicate with his pitcher.
1 is a fastball, 2 is a curveball, 3, slider. Wiggle 4, changeup, and those are basically universal. Everybody uses those.
Yeah.
That wasn't the end of Chase's baseball instructions for the day.
You have to go to the field, get just a little ground ball, throw, hit a little bit, you get better and better and better. This thing, down.
He got a fielding lesson from none other than Twins legendary Tony Oliva,
Get down here.
the first Major League player ever to win the American League Rookie of the Year, and batting title in the same year.
You don't want the glove here. You don't want the glove here. You want the glove here in front of you.
Oh, did I mention? You want a gold glove, too.
Okay. Looking easy, but take a lot of practice. Come on, get it. Ah, boy.
What an amazing experience for my son and for me.
Ah, boy.
Thanks, Coach Tony.
You're welcome, guys. You're welcome. And good luck to you, eh?
But hey, it's going to be game time soon. And if we're going to pull for the Twins, well, I guess we got to look the part. All right, that's better. Now we look like Twins fans. Which, by the way, there are plenty down here. And they journey to Florida at this time of year for all different reasons. Some of them because of the weather.
Absolutely. It's cold up in Minnesota, and I'd like to come out and see baseball as soon as we can.
Beats 37 degrees and snowing.
The weather in Minnesota is cold. It snowed in Minnesota yesterday, and we're happy to be in the warm weather.
But a lot of them come simply because they're big baseball fans. And seeing their team in the unique atmosphere that is spring training in Florida is just too good of an opportunity to pass up.
Yeah, we came down to Florida to come down and see our team play. We're huge fans, and we're excited to see them down here and play in spring training.
Close to the field, and you get a chance to have some interaction with the players, and the teams really do a nice job of trying to invite the crowd into the experience of Major League Baseball.
There's a lot going on. We got here early, and we took a big tour all the way around, checking out all the different food, the T-shirts, the fun people. Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, and it's just
beautiful.
it's modern, but yet it still has that classic feel, you know?
Yeah, you heard right. There's a boardwalk that goes all the way around this stadium. Chase and I checked it out, and it is really cool. What a great way to see the game. Afterwards, I caught up with Twins executive Bill Smith to find out more about the work that went into designing this beautiful facility.
This is a great view right here, Bill.
This is a wonderful view and a great setting, and we're very fortunate to be in this great facility. We wanted the 360-degree boardwalk to allow fans to walk all the way around the ballpark.
Yeah.
The game has changed over 25 years. Back then, people would get a ticket, sit in their seat, get a hot dog and a drink, and watch the game.
And go home.
Now people want to move around the ballpark. Yeah. They want to see the game from different angles. You know, they just want more out of a game, and so that was our biggest goal going into this, was to offer that. It was critical to us in this design to be able to add that for our fans.
Yeah.
And you know, it's just, it really gives you a lot of different views. The response from our fans has been fantastic.
Fantastic is a great word to describe the day Chase and I had at spring training. The weather, the stadium, the incredible access to players. It all adds up to Florida's Grapefruit League spring training being, well, an incredible experience. One you should definitely do when you get out and do Florida.
You're watching Major League Baseball players in great weather, and you're so close to them, you know? It's just like, it's incredible.
It's great to have this in your hometown, right?
Yeah, it's great. It's great. I'm from Fort Myers. It's great to have Major League Baseball teams here in Fort Myers for spring training, and then minor league teams throughout the summer.
We'll be back. Florida's an awesome place.
Good.
To plan your spring training experience, go to FloridaGrapefruitLeague.com.
Hey, you're watching How to Do Florida. Ice cold beer here, ice cold beer.
Well, that's our show. I hope you learned something, but more importantly, I hope you feel encouraged to get out and do Florida. Hey, Mr. Maurer, can I please get your autograph? Yeah. Hey, Mr. Maurer, can I please get your autograph? Please, please, please. Come on, man, come on. It's for the kids, ain't for me. Dude, that's some green grass. Is that how our front yard looks?
No.
We are the children.
Fading. Can I get a clap? Wow, wow, wow.
So just cleaning the table, what happened, I did a pan snap and corn went everywhere. And he doesn't like a messy table, so he stopped down to clean everything. So we're letting him do his thing here to clean.
Just a coach. Have the greenskeeper sign it. I don't have anybody sign my ball. I'm really not picky. There we go. Nice.
Yankees are going down, boys.
I don't even know what happened. I just started clapping.
Awesome.
What do you do?
Ice cold beer, water, peanuts. Got a customer.
Without smell, you can't taste, and without taste, you can't smell.